whiskey friends. Far and wide, we are LIVE live. What's up, y'all? Quick size dram in hand. Happy Tasty Tuesday. I am Eric, your Malt Musa. And along with a sleepy Winston the Whiskey Cat, we are beaming the Whiskey Tube signal from Chicago, Illinois, Estados Unidos. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. Folks already piling in the chat. We got a fun show tonight, something a little different. Malt that I can't say I know anything about, so that'll be a good time. And a few other surprises coming up. A couple samples, one from Donner Pass, one from Foodguig. We're going to be getting into all of that. But before we do, I'm going to sip a little bit more of this Aaron 10. Shout out to Daniel H. down in East Texas, who I believe has a dram of this in his hand as well. Let's see who's ponied up to the virtual bar, getting after it already here on a Tasty Tuesday. And let's just roll, man. Let's roll. Let's roll. It's time. First in the door today, Buffalo? Keen Dreams. I'm Keen on Whiskey, and I'm looking ahead with delight to this presentation. All right. Great to have you. Knock, knock. Who's there? Duluth whiskey lover. Endo, might you be? Yeah, a little strained, but it worked. What's up? Up in Duluth, Minnesota, our good friend, Mr. French. Nice to see you, man. Jupiter, Florida's in the house. Gerbic. Good to see you, man. Assuming your position at the bar. Nice to see you, man. San Francisco Bay Area. Our boy, Gary K. Gary, man, what's good? What's happening out in Cali? Just down the coast. One of the fearsome twosome out there in Los Angeles. He's been on a tequila kick lately. James Chang. What's up, man? Good to see you, James. Always good to have you in the house. Central California. Man, we are just all over the Golden State. Donner Pass Whiskey. Hello, sir. We got one of your samples lined up for tonight. Here's my friend Chris S. He's holding it down. Quad Cities of Illinois, just on the other side of the land of Lincoln. Arizona Desert, last week's big Patreon winner. Them samples will be coming your way soon, my friend. It's Leo holding it down in Phoenix. What's up, man? Northern Ireland's here. Whiskey Straight Al. If you haven't yet, go and give him a sub. He is doing good stuff. What's up, Al? Man, always good to see you. Mr. White's here holding it down in Ontario. Our good friend up in Canada. London's here as well. UK in the house. James Morgan. Solange, buddy. Early morning for you, sir. Always good to see you. And there he is. East Texas. Bro, they're busting each other's bills over an MC screen. That was fun to join. Agave spirits, mostly mezcal. There we go. Okay. Yes, we should. Allow me to be a little bit more explicitly accurate. Our boy James, we've been chatting on Instas. He's been into the agaves lately. I have a little bit to say about something like that as well tonight, too. All right. We got 13 folks in, man. Join the party. What's up, y'all? All right. Before I set up tonight's show, a little bit of housekeeping. Speaking of non-whiskey spirits, I took y'all's advice from last week when we had a bit of a chat about potentially doing a couple reviews of some things that I drink and enjoy that are not whiskey. Well, my spirited sample series has begun in earnest. And last week I released a special review of Foursquare Sovereignty. Thank you all for the great positive feedback and encouragement to do so. I will be doing a couple others, and I think a mezcal will be next. So James Chang, keep your eyes out. I think I'll be checking out an agave spirit myself as part of that spirited sample series. Whiskey review dropping Friday this week. Nika Coffee Grain, a whiskey from Japan. Switching things up a little bit. It's been a while since I've done a world whiskey, specifically a whiskey from Japan. Very excited to release that on Friday Patreons. It is already in your inbox. Check it out. Leave a comment. Would love to hear. Let's get things kicked off in style tonight. Smash that like button. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're coming from if you feel like disclosing it. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, man. I would love your support. I am sipping on an Aaron 10 right now, a whiskey that I did a comparison video of the new and old releases a while back. Long and short of it is a great everyday dram. I'm hoping that my featured whiskey tonight might be able to steal a little bit room on the everyday dram couch with Aaron 10 and Highland Park 12 and a couple others. Let me know in the chat. What are your everyday whiskeys? And it doesn't mean literally every day. Although if it does, do you. Your whiskeys that are just kind of your palate starters, your just set it and forget it types. I'd love to hear from folks in the chat. What are the ones that you kind of pour, always have a bottle of, drink without hesitation, maybe get you started if you're going to have a couple others. Maybe just one to take a little bit of the edge off the day. I'd love to hear what some of yours are. The whiskey that we are going to uncork and profile tonight is a 12-year-old speyside called Knockando. Knockando, 12 years old. As part 2 of that prompt, let me know if you've ever had this one before. I am going to guess that not many of you have. I sure haven't. We're going to change that tonight. I got a fresh Glencairn. Let me pour a little bit of this. I'll jump back in the chat and catch up with anybody else who's joined. We're up to 15 folks in, which is great. Natural cork. Pour a nice hearty dram of the Knockando 12. And we'll get all into it. Let's see what's going on. Hey, Marilyn's in the house. What's up, buddy? Might be the man with the samples. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Cheers, man. Yeah, I'll be getting them to you soon, Leo. You don't worry. I'll let you know when they're in the mail. Another Cali friend is in the house. The man with the gram. It's Dram Dude. Check out Dram Dude's Instagram if you haven't, y'all. He is amazing whiskey photographer and has a hell of a collection. How you doing, buddy? Coming at us from Cali, somewhere in Central California. Hey, cheers, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, you may not have been in the sample swap last week, but you might want to get into it now. You also get early access to reviews. You get exclusive reviews, etc., etc. Hit me up on Patreon. Would love your support. It is rum day. Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll have to, if we get to an hour number 2, maybe I'll have to pour a rum tonight. We'll see where things go. What else we got going on? Somebody was a bit expensive. Yeah. I'm assuming you. Oh, yeah. Aaron 10 in the glass, brother. Cheers. Yep, I'm doing the same one now. Excellent. And the Aaron 10, James Chang, Knockando. Not Knockando, Knockando. All right, well, there we go. First pine turn, Aaron 10, tropical fruit. You ain't lying. Reasonably priced 18. He's quite the drinker as well. Yeah, I would hate to ever minimize the Dram Dude. He knows his spirits. Cheers, homie. All right, y'all. So this Aaron 10 is going to serve us as kind of a benchmark tonight. Now, I do want to admit, in full disclosure, it's one of the older bottlings. If you check out my video, you'll know what I think of the new versus old. Not a huge difference. It is 46%. It's non-chill. It's natural color. Ex-bourbon, ex-sherry. Okay. So I'm going to leave that in the glass because we're going to be revisiting the Aaron 10 shortly. But I want to get into our featured whiskey tonight. Knockando. Not Knockando. Knockando. I'm a learner. This is a speyside malt. It comes from the Knockando distillery. Now, an interesting thing about the Knockando distillery. You might have heard of a whiskey called Annock. Well, guess what? Annock is not too far from them at all. And the whiskey distillery that makes Annock is called Knockando. They actually changed the name from Knockando whiskey to Annock. As I think, James Morgan just mentioned in the chat. Yes, exactly. taking my talking points. They changed it to Annock so as to not be so closely associated or confused. Let me rephrase that. Not to be so confused with Knockando. Here's the tail of the tape. I got a dram of this and that. This is the bottle. This is bottled at 43% ABV. I like that. It even has a distilled year on it, 2002. So this bottle is from 2014 bottle. The cask is bourbon. They write that on here too. A lot of information. Now on the back, not a whole lot. Let me just take a quick peek here at the tube. Distillery of Knockando stands on the banks of the River Spey, which gives it its name Speyside. The region of Scotland are known for the finest single malts. They've been around since 1898. Stands for Little Black Hill. This is matured, and look, great. We're doing well here. They got a bunch of info. Matured in refill bourbon casks, mainly for a minimum of 12 years. Mainly for a minimum of 12 years, which is implying that there may be some older stuff in here. 43%, as I said. Ex-bourbon cask, refill bourbon cask, I should say. No mention anywhere about chill filtration or natural color. And I just want to show you why I can almost guarantee that this is not real color. So first of all, they likely chill filter. Second of all, it is fake color. Now, this is the Aaron 10. Okay. Yes, it is 2 years younger, but look at the color of this. Okay. This is the Knockando 12. Okay. Now, you may be thinking, well, Eric, it's 2 years older. It should have a darker color. Look at how much more clear, crystalline this whiskey is here than this one. Okay. That, my friends, is almost certainly what E158 caramel colorant does to whiskey. Now, as I've said multiple times before, I don't think any whiskey should have fake color in it. It's stupid. It probably has an effect on the flavor. They do it for marketing reasons. They think it sells more whiskey because the whiskey's darker. Ask Lefroy about their 10-year-old if you disagree. But chill filtration to me is a much worse crime against a malt, and that is strictly because we all know, as we talked about a few weeks ago with the Highland Park Cask Strength Batch 2, every whiskey distillery releases a non-chill filtered whiskey. They do it for a reason, and that is because it is going to encapsulate the full integrity of the malt. It is not stripping any of the oils out that can affect the flavor. And the Aaron 10 here is a great example of that. The Highland Park Cask Strength is an example of that. If you go on Highland Park's website and look at the Highland Park YouTube video advertisement about Cask Strength Batch 1, their master distiller says it explicitly that they don't chill filter for that reason. In fact, the Glen Alecky that we had last week also says it. So there's no controversy, in my humble opinion. So we are looking at a 43%er. It is 12 years old. It is from Speyside. It is refill bourbon. It is chill filtered, and it is likely has some fake color added. Hence the orange glow. Another thing you should know: this is an incredibly inexpensive whiskey, which I purchased in the UK. This was an add-on to some other stuff I had bought overseas. It's a good one to kind of tag on there, lower that average shipping cost. It was around, I don't know, 30 pounds, so $35, $37, pretty inexpensive. But let's see what it delivers. So I'll fly under the radar. Anybody had any Knockando whiskeys before? Let's see what this 12-year-old's got in stock, y'all. Here we go. On the nose. Okay. So it's spicy and it's fruity. A little bit of edge to it. This is reminding me of a non-aged statement Glenlivet I unfortunately had some years back called the Glenlivet Founders Reserve. Sharp, abrasive, lemony. It smells a little bit like cleaner. Not exactly a fully well-rounded whiskey, but it is only 12 years old, and they put the age statement on. There's some nice apple and pear in this. There's a little bit of apricot in this. Lots of fruit. The spice has a slight alcohol fresh edge to it. It also has a bit of cinnamon and nutmeg. And if Winston the Whiskey Cat wasn't passed out, I would get a second opinion. But something tells me he wouldn't like it because he didn't like anything. Little hints are starting to come through of maybe toffee, Werther's original candy, maybe a little butterscotch, a little bit of vanilla. This is a very standard by the numbers I keep saying it, refill bourbon cask, 12-year-old whiskey, not a lot of bells and whistles, a very competent, if uninspiring, uninteresting nose. At the price, though, will it deliver on the palate? Let's give it a taste. Happy Tasty Tuesday, El Slanche about Knockando. Knockando. 12 years old. Here we go. Okay. I'm not saying anything because I'm actually a little surprised. In a good way or a bad way, I'll let you know after the second sip. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Surprisingly viscous. It's a pretty full mouthfeel. Almonds, chocolate, fruit. And surprisingly has a bit of depth. There's a nice dark cocoa chocolate note here. When it reaches the back end of the development is where things start to get a little dicey. More oak cast coming through. The richness fades away into a little bit more drying, chocolatey, again, dark chocolate, bitter chocolate. Little bit of citrus, medium to short, medium finish. You're really left with just kind of a oaky chocolate note. Pumpkin or squash. I know how crazy that sounds, but that's what I'm getting. There's a bit of this kind of, what are those called? Like those autumn vegetable, root vegetable. There's a bit of root vegetable here. I kid you not. I would never tell you guys a lie. So look, this is not a bad malt. I would love to see this at 46. Here's what I'll say. At 46% non-chill natural, this will be better at what it's doing, and what it's doing is pretty conventional. I didn't expect it to be much else. The character, the panache, this je ne sais quoi, whatever you want to call it, of the distillery itself, not very apparent here. If anything, it's a nuttiness and a cask oak that's really coming through. That fruit notes are on the background. Knockando is what it is, man. This is a competent malt. But I'm not going to settle for just this. I want to see what else we got here. And this is where the water comes in. 12 years old, 43%. I'm going to put a generous amount of water. We're going to do 4 or 5 drops. Really want to see if there's anything lingering in here. I do think the ex-bourbon cask is a good choice here. Well, I'm hoping it is, because with water, I'm hoping I'm going to get a little bit more character out of this whiskey. But as it stands right now, it's competent, but a bit flat, a bit by the numbers. Here's the water. So now I'm getting a bit more minerality. Not so different from the whiskey that changed its name not to sound like this. Knock or Knockando. Chocolate, yes. Apple, yes. Cinnamon, yes. An almond note, like an almond croissant. It's here. Tame down that alcohol note a little bit. Here we go. Light to light medium mouthfeel. Bit short development. Surge. So this is a positive in that it has become a little bit less dry and chocolatey and a bit more fruity and sweet to kind of blend with that chocolate. This is a better dram with water. It's a medium mouthfeel and a medium finish. Little bit of that alcohol burn on the end, though. Look, here's the deal. For the price, which again was around $40 USD, sure. Not a bad one to have around. I could see this being a decent blending whiskey if you don't want to drink crappy Dewar's or anything like, some of those whiskeys. Very, very fine for that. The 43% is a plus. A little apple, little orange. Reasonable. A reasonable dram, if unexciting. And really would get would get kind of drowned out by others in the Speyside region at 12 years old. So there's not a lot to write home about here other than that it's a totally competent whiskey at a decent price. We'll see how it goes. I think this is one of these whiskeys that challenges me a little bit on the score because, as I've always said, a 3 is my average. Below 2 is a definite kind of try before you buy, but still worth trying. A 3 to 4, 3.75 is like, yeah, grab it at a good price, but also try it before you do. This is certainly not a 4, and it's certainly not a 2. Honestly, I think this is like between a 2.75 and a 3. That's kind of what this is doing to me. And I want to go back now just for a second to this Aaron 10 that we've had here. Okay. Now, a bottle of Aaron 10 is going to cost you about $15 more. This is at 46%. This is non-chill filtered. This is natural color. Yes, this has a little sherry cask in it. I'm almost certain of. This is closer to a 4 whiskey. This is a complex whiskey. This has, first of all, a beautifully cloudiness to it, which is what you want. Fact. There's tropical fruit, there's coconut, there's bourbon cask. This whiskey truly allows the malt to shine. And the casks kind of play second fiddle. Or I should say they play equilibrium. Here's what the extra 3% in non-chill filtration gets you. Richer development. This is a younger whiskey, by the way. 2 years younger than this one. It's richer. It's got more complexity. The flavors are bolder. It has a prolonged development. This has 4, 5, 6 dimensions compared to this Knockando, whatever. Knock and don't is probably the way we want to put it. If it's compared to this Aaron 10. Aaron 10 is light years better than this, and for the simple fact that Aaron is bottling it with integrity. As for the malt itself, Aaron, I can tell. Aaron, I can taste the malt. This one, I don't know. I'm not so sure that it has it doesn't have any character. This is just a whiskey that goes into blends for the most part, I would think. And if it's not, it should, because that's basically what it's doing. It's not bringing anything to the table. But the price isn't bad. I'm going to give it a fair score of a 275, which is a try before you buy, but on the high end. Give it a try. If you find this to be if there's something about this you like, give it a try. It's not going to cost you very much money. And for a 12-year-old age-stated single malt these days, that's saying a lot. But if you got $15 more in your pocket, this Aaron 10, where I'm getting coconut notes, I'm getting tropical fruit, I'm getting butterscotch and bourbon and honey, I'm getting little hints of red fruit. I mean, this is just light years better. So when I'm thinking about drams that I like to grab every day, again, metaphorically speaking, because I don't drink it every day, whiskeys that I just pour to kind of get my palate started, figure out what I want to drink. Aaron 10 is one of them. So is Highland Park 12, Viking, whatever it's called. I don't think this 12-year-old Knockando is going to make it. I don't think this is something that I can go and grab. I wanted it to. I was intrigued by the age statement. I was intrigued by the price. But unfortunately, it's just too basic. It's basic to a fault. A Glenfiddich 12, which you'll probably pay $10 more for, $5 more for, much better. What can I say? So, look, mixed reaction here. 275, I think, is a generous and fair score for this. I think most whiskeys are palatable, which is why my average is 3, not 2.5. But this one, would I buy this again? Probably not. Do I think you should buy it? Taste it first, for sure. The only challenge is maybe you can't taste it first. So here's the caveat. If you're ordering whiskey from overseas, this is a good one to throw on there for a reasonable price to lower your average shipping cost. Take a flyer on it. That's what this whiskey is. Do better. Knockando, whatever you're going to call yourself. Yeah. That's what I got for you, y'all. So that is that's the deal here on our profiled whiskey tonight. Do let me know in the chat if you've had this before, if you think I'm totally off base. I'm going to catch up here. We've got 20 folks in. What is good, y'all? Knockando, not Knockando, you know, whatever. Let me know. I did not look this up beforehand, so James Chang, I appreciate you correcting me. I will keep that in mind. Gary's been working on the sovereignty. That is something to work on for sure and enjoy. That is fun work. Correction. Yes, that is correct. Knockando is the distillery that makes Annock, and they changed it to Annock to avoid being confused. There we go. Let's see what else is going on here. Hey, there's Whiskey Nose and MC Squared sent me 2 clowns. Yeah. Cheers, man. And by the way, folks, if you are got a free second, which you do right now. In fact, I'll stop. Take a second, open up another window on your phone, in your browser. Go give Whiskey Nose and MC Squared Whiskey a sub. I got a chance to just pop in on their live stream right before this. They're doing great stuff. Really enjoyable. They did a blind tasting. Super stand-up good guys. I'll give you a second. Go do that. Meanwhile, Winston the Whiskey Cat over here, I'm going to just say hi. What are you doing? Did you get over there yet? Rob MC's in the house. What up, Rob? Great to see you. Y'all see, I'm getting confused whether it's Knockando. Knockando. Yes. Yeah. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. And I'll be honest, I'm ignorant about Mortlock. I do not have a ton of. Let me just put it this way: I wasn't impressed with the Mortlock 12 Wee Witchy, and I know that that's not the Mortlock to drink necessarily, but a lot of people do like it. I've not wrapped my head around Mortlock yet. Enlighten me. Yes, they do. Correction. Knockando, originally pronounced correctly by Malt user. Knockando. Okay. Yeah. Doe like Homer says, yeah. Good point. A reasonable, unexciting whiskey sounds compelling, yeah, doesn't it? Thank you, man. Yeah, smash that thumbs up, y'all. It goes far. I bet. Hey, Sid's in the house. What up? Aaron has visibly changed color, much darker, so I expect the age has increased. Very possible. When they went through that rebrand, they might have juiced up their 10 with a little bit older juice to, get people more excited. Competing with entry-level 40% mass producing, not surprising. It's exceptionally average. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Look, it's important, I think, for me at least, to revisit some whiskeys like this every once in a while. I don't want to pigeonhole myself as only doing higher-end stuff. I mean, it's fun to read, and I've said this in many videos in the past, just to go back and see how far you've come. Maybe you find something that you didn't quite expect in a younger whiskey. I mean, it's all in good fun, Yeah, Glencaddington that's a superior dram for sure. Cool, y'all. Okay. So again, I'm gonna just fruity. Look, I mean, what would be fun to do with this? Do it blind against Glenfiddich and a Glenlivet 12. You could probably throw in like a Auchentoshan. It is what it is. But not bad. And it's not bad. And for the price, fairly reasonable for a decent single. I mean, I'll tell you this: if I went into the store tomorrow and my choice was a Glenlivet 12 or this, and the price difference is what, $15-20, I'd take this. Same thing, basically. I just wish it had a little more character. I was hoping for a little more character. Not the like kind of minerality thing you get with the Craig Alecky and the Anok, but I was hoping for something a little bit more characterful. Moving on. Knockando is what it is. $275 is more than fair for that 12-year-old. I have two samples that we're going to get into next. One, which is provided by somebody who I see in the chat room, Donner Pass Whiskey. I don't know how this one escaped my grasp, Donner. But I got it right here, and this is going to be the first one we do. So, we're going to switch gears here. It is a Old Particular Daluin 12-year-old 57.64 sherry butt non-chill natural color. Did you hear those words? That's a lot different than anything that we just tasted right now, Mr. Knockando. Nice Old Particular independent bottle of the Daluin, a distillery that I, again, don't have a ton of experience with. But man, with the, come on, 57.6 at 12 years. Donner Pass, just for context sake, if you're willing, would you share what you faintly recall you may have paid for this Old Particular bottling of Daluin at 12 years old? Because I'm curious, just for the point of context with what we just did. Yeah, we'll do it wrong. Thank you, Sid. It is really good. Really like the more like 12. Yeah. Yeah, I might have went to the well a little bit too soon on that. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. It's such a savory whiskey. I'll admit, I think maybe at the time I wasn't ready for what it was bringing. I tried to be fair in my review. In hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have reviewed it. I make mistakes, you know. I'm not perfect. Any of this shit. I don't know. I'd like to try another Mortlock. I've just not bought any, and you know, maybe I should. Seems like I'm getting some good advice from my from you good peeps. By the way, we got 17 of y'all in the house. What's up, man? How's everybody doing? Yeah, we'll do them. We'll do it. But we gotta wait till we get to the fun half. We're only 36 minutes in. Yeah, that's fair. The Beast of Dufftown. Mike B. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope everything is good down in Maryland. Okay. Here we go. Donner Pass whiskey sample. Thank you, sir. I do need to find the cap that I just dropped. Because if I don't, this little cute, rolled up, hiding his face punk over here is gonna find it and chew the living shit out of it, and then I'll have to deal with that. There it is. Daluin, Old Particular, 12, Sherry. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's peep it. Several years ago, good price, $55. Yeah, nice. I did tell people I was going to do Clynelish 14 this week, and then I totally flipped the script. You want to know why? I couldn't find my bottle of Clynelish 14. I have it. It's here. I got a little lazy looking for it. Winston. Winston does not care. I think he might have took my Clynelish. Anyways, Daluin. This is just full-on fresh sherry deliciousness. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful nose. Strawberries, fresh raspberries, just exploding on the glass. This is what cast strength non-chill natural does. Or near cast strength, whatever you want to call it. Old Particular, which I believe is Douglas Lang, a quality independent bottler. Man, just a huge, fantastic, sweet, and also a little bit on the Christmas spice savory side nose. Really nice. I'll do the Nancy Pelosi. That's fantastic. Big spice, big sherry, drying. Actually, quite drying. But a lot of just, there's a little bit of leather tobacco here. Mixed berries, drying spice. Awesome. Quite good. Quite good. A sherry bomb, a little bit more drying than maybe I would normally reach for, but come on, it's a 58%, nearly 58% 12-year-old whiskey. That's good. Daluin is one of these distilleries, and yeah, let me know in the chat if anybody's had this before. Also, let me know about your everyday drams. I didn't see any of those pop up. If anybody has any, yes, that they do. No doubt about it. Sadly, they do not ship outside of the great state of California. Otherwise, I'd be well, I'd be reviewing a lot of whiskeys from them. It's just not the case. It is what it is. I got plenty of whiskey issues from here in Chicago, but wouldn't mind some K&L love. Boy, there's a really... This is a very dry, a very punchy whiskey. Those sweet fruits are rapidly diminishing in behind the spice of this. Oak, fresh cut wood, cranberry, raspberry, intense. I like this, but boy, it needs some water. I think water is going to do the magic on this. It is, to me, the neat, again, this is nearly 58%. It's too dry and spicy. The development is too short. It kind of just goes right into this. So let's bring this down a notch and see what happens. Yeah, Gary, you would know for sure. I know, man. I know. There's too many bottles. There's just too many bottles, brother. You know how it goes. Needs water for sure. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Okay. A little bit of water on this. Yeah, there we go. I'll be honest. And let me throw this prompt out. Tell me what you guys think. When it comes to Scotch whiskey, for those of you who buy a lot of cask strength, do you drink the majority of them neat or with water? Now, I've long evangelized that a little bit of water goes a long way. In a whiskey like this, the water is completely changing this. Way longer development. Plum, raisin, chocolate. I mean, this is a completely different whiskey. I'm just curious, do most of y'all, are you like purists when it comes to this kind of thing? You're like, nah, man, I drink a cask strength only, or do you put water in? Again, no judgment. I'm honestly just curious. Because I'll tell you right now, at least in the case of this Daluin, and again, Donner Pass whiskey, my man, appreciate you. This is a tasty one. Almost in it, and then add in sage. Yeah, that's about my approach too. Yeah, flaked me on K&L when he was visiting. Yeah, flaked you. Yeah. You know how it is out there, but I was in Huntington Beach, man. You know how it goes. Huntington Beach might as well be fucking Toledo. Next time, buddy. You know I won't miss it. Chris Esco's hard neat. I like it. Drop of water. Like it. I didn't have the Florin Fauna. You know who was big on the Florin Faunas is my erstwhile tasting friend, Mr. Telex Whiskey Tech. A lot of cask strength bottles and Downing Spring. Sweet spot, yeah. Water is primarily Ralphie directive. If you're doing it that way, what are you doing? I'm not sure what you mean. I like cask strength because it gives you the option to. Yeah, that I agree. Yeah, but whether Ralphie, I think is correct. As Sid mentioned, I think he's right. I do think whether or not you like it more is independent of the fact that water does change the dram, and whether that's good or bad, you gotta test it. I'm really enjoying this. This is in that 375 range. I think with water 375, neat 325. This is just too intense neat. With water, man, the dried fruit notes are just fucking killer. Really enjoyable. I am not super familiar with Dalium. I've had a couple. I can't really pull out their signature style. But I will say unequivocally, like, this is another great old particular Douglas Lang bottling. I have rarely met one that wasn't good, and Donner Pass has provided me with so many delicious ones that, man, I'm just super impressed. Really nice bottle. Thank you, Donner Pass. Right. Yeah, surprisingly is the key word there. Hey, New York City's in the house. What's up? Everything to remember when that gets bitter with water. No, yeah, dude, Jack's totally right. I've fallen for that on multiple occasions. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. Hey, what's up, my Meyer? Great to see you. It's good to have you in the house. Oh, I hit high times for sure. Yeah, that's where I if you look back, there's a live stream where I wax about how I got a bottle of Lagavulin 9 Game of Thrones edition for $25. Because the minute I walked into High Times in Huntington Beach, California, there was a like fucking temple pyramid built of those of the 9-year-old Lagavulins from that collection of Game of Thrones ones for $25. I killed it while I was out there. Hey, what's up, Tennessee? Stephen Connor's in the house, man. Great to see you. Always good to have Connor's. Okay, we're going to move on to the next sample. And this is an obscure Canadian one from Foodguig. From a Canadian distillery that I actually do find here in the United States. And that is 40 Creek. This is called the Master's Cut Cast Strength Canadian whiskey, 48.5. We get the 10 here. It's like a rum cast finish, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, man, when I lived in DC, I used to buy stuff from there all the time. Their Third Base, which used to be good. Third Base Wine and Spirits out in California, Remedy, of course. What's that other one? Glendale Liquors. Unfortunately, less of them would send to me in Philadelphia, and more of them send to me here, but not High Times. He says, Matt, let's check it out. Yeah, caramely, toffee, vanilla. I mean, it's not the worst. Rich body. Pretty full flavor. Fruit, like orchard fruits, grape a little bit, and then just a lot of vanilla toffee. This is actually not quite as interesting as the 10-year-old rum cask one that I can find in the States. And I know they have a 21-year-old sherry and so on and so forth. Yeah, this one is, again, 40 Creek Master's Cut. I did do a review a while back of a whiskey that you can get here called the 40 Creek Copper Pot. Very inexpensive, quite good for the price. It's like $25 to $30. Very full flavor. This one is in that same lineage in the sense that it's very big butterscotch and very again, these like bourbon cask notes, nothing like in the orchard fruit, the apple. Is what it is. Not bad. Okay, I need to go refill my water. So give me a hot second, and when I come back, I have been alerted that it is National Rum Day. So I'm going to come back with a rum, and it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be unexpected, and it's not Foursquare. Sit tight. I'll be right back. Hey, y'all. So it's National Rum Day. I do want to just harken back for a hot second to last week's show where a bunch of y'all encouraged me to push the envelope and do release some whiskey or non-whiskey related reviews of spirits that I enjoy. Now, if you got a chance, I took you up on that offer, or on that idea, I should say. I did a review last week of Foursquare Sovereignty. And unlike whiskey, I'm not putting scores on them. I'm just saying if I like it or not, why I like it, why I don't, and if I would buy it again. Because I think that that's the most fair and reasonable and, authentic way to present myself with spirits that I don't drink nearly as much as whiskey. So, that being said, I'm going to continue this series, which is called the Spirited Sample Series. And since it is whiskey, it is a National Rum Day. I am, thank you to the folks who are ready. I'm going to actually pour a rum, which I'm not sure many of you folks have heard of. But I guarantee you have heard of the people that make it. What I got here is Amroot's Old Port Rum. Yes, you heard that right. This is Amroot, embossed right on here, written here on the label. Amroot, i.e., yes, this is the Indian single malt distiller Amroot. We're going to pour, as you can see, I have not drank much of it, Amroot Old Port Rum. Here's what it has to say. It is deluxe crafted. It is distilled, matured, and bottled by Amroot Distillers. It is bottled at 42.8% ABV. Here's what it says. From the East Indies, the land of sugarcane and spices, comes Old Port, the ultimate rum lover's choice. Drink it in moderation, straight, or with your favorite mixer. This is batch number 17, bottled June 2019. Amroot rum. Now, I will tell you two things. Since you're tuned into the live stream, I will be continuing this Spirited Sample series, and it will not be replacing whiskey on the Tuesday live show, nor will it be replacing the Friday whiskey reviews. It'll be a supplemental, released randomly. The next one I do will not be a rum. It's going to be likely a tequila, mezcal, or gin. But in the spirit of the day, here we go with the Old Port rum. This is around a $30, $20 to $30 rum bottle. As you can see, I've given myself a little bit of a smaller bottle. Yeah, thank you, man. I do have an Instagram. If you are an Instagram man, I'd love to have you as well. Here we go. What the hell? Amroot. I can smell it from here, and it smells. This is not an indictment of rum, but let's give it a taste. It smells like. So let me be really clear about one thing before we go further. There's a great review dropping Friday. Nika Coffee Grain. Patreons, it's in your inbox already. Let me get that out of the way. Now to talk about something a little bit, I think, less interesting. The rules around rum are much different than the rules around whiskey. Insofar as there are rules around whiskey, rum, imagine like it's much more the Wild West. Most of the popular rums, Bacardi, etc., they add a bunch of sugars to it, and sugars that are found outside of the actual presentation and materials made of the rum that they're putting in. In other words, they're adding it. This is a hardcore example of that, unfortunately. And I can smell it from here. And here's what I smell. It's an awful nose. And when I say awful, here's what I mean. Pixie stick. Strawberry slushy, like an icy that you get at or cherry icy that you get at the movie theater, but if it had like double the syrup. Horrible cough medicine. It's an awful nose. And there's a simple reason for this. And that's because this is filled with shit sugar. Pepto-Bismol. I really don't want to drink this. But it's National Rum Day. I have a lot of good rum, which I'm going to save for reviews. So we're going to do this. This is Amroot's Old Port Rum. Don't buy this. Here we go. Taste is better than the nose, but not by much. Trying. Chocolatey. Sickly sweet. Somehow tastes like cough syrup, even though there's no cherry note. I don't know how else to describe it. This is really bad. It's really bad. A bottle of Bacardi Silver would embarrass this in a tasting. This is... I'll put water on it. Now, I don't want to like discourage you from drinking rum because of this, because if you looked at my first spirited sample review, which is now becoming a playlist, so you can check it out if you missed it, you'll learn a little bit about what really good rum is. This is not an example of that. I don't know what Amroot was thinking with this. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Oh, the nose. You ever had Smarties candy? You ever like opened a package of Smarties? Chalky, sweet, condensed sugar in the worst way. I can't even do the nose. Ugh. The taste, thankfully, recovers. I'll be honest. If I was going to score this just on the nose alone, this is like a 0.75, which is an absolute no. Unfortunately, for us, the taste recovers slightly. And by slightly, I mean not much, but enough to like salvage the experience. It is just, it's just really bad. Okay? This is just a really bad rum by any standard. And the quality that Amroot makes their whiskey with is not translating here. A 0.75 is an absolute no for me. A 1 to a 1.75 is do not recommend. I think the only thing that may salvage this is the price and the ABV. Most shitty Bacardis are 40%. This at least has a 42.8%. If you want to make crappy rum drinks, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. If you want to make rum drinks and use a dark rum and don't want to pay a lot and want to just, for the rum that goes in it and want to have something that's relatively thin, this is fine. This is a 1.75. So this is an absolute, it's a do not recommend with the caveat that if you are looking to make a daiquiri with a dark rum, you could do worse, and you definitely can do worse. It at least has a little bit of character, but not enough to drink neat. This is not a neat drinking rum at all. So there's your National Rum Day. I'm going to go back to the much more delicious. What was this? I always get these confused. I want to say it's shit. I want to say it's 40 Creek, or this is 40 Creek. Sorry, this is 40 Creek Master's Cut. I think I misspoke about it earlier. Yeah, don't buy the old port, y'all, unless you it's a mixer only. This is mixer only, 175, and that's generous. Which, again, on my scale is a do not recommend. But I judge things based on whether or not you can drink them as they are, not as a mixer. If I was doing a mixer review channel, I would call it Malt Mixer Whiskey Reviews. Come on, you know you like that. Okay. Yeah, anyways, I'm casting that aside. I'm not even going to drink any more of it. Someday in the near future, I'll have a daiquiri night with some friends, and I'll dump all of this in there, hopefully, because this is not a rum you should buy. So the reason that I chose this rum for rum night is, first of all, I didn't know it was rum night, and I was told this by some of our good malt mongrels out there, as Cohen would say. And secondly, because you might be tempted as a whiskey drinker to buy a rum with Amroot's name on it. Let me dissuade you of those highfalutin thoughts immediately. Do not do it if you are buying it for a sipping rum. If you're buying it for a mixing rum, go for it. But don't buy this thinking you're going to sit down and sip a nice rum and have a good experience, because that's not what this is. Okay? There we go. Okay, back to the 40 Creek. And back to the comments, which I realize I am falling way behind on. Yes, and I do have a review of that. It's not the worst thing ever. It's pretty good. Hey, Detroit is in the house. What's up, Detroit? It's Brad in the Motor City. Cheers, folks. Hey, I'm glad to see you, man. System Tron. What's your favorite type of spirit of all time out Misery Whiskey Reviews? I'll give you a guess. It starts with ska and ends with ach. Yeah, Scotch is my favorite. Yeah, Scotch is my favorite, man. I did not start with that. I started really when I started appreciating spirits, it was tequila. and I still do drink some neat tequilas. Bourbon came shortly after that, along with gin, bourbon and gin, and then scotch. But scotch is my favorite generally. Is that so? Are you calling me out, Mike B? You saying I can't end with Amroot, one of the better, if not best, world whiskeys? You're trying to tell me I can't end with that? You know what? I'm going to even pour this back into the bottle. You know why? Because it's a blend. That's a blender only, and I don't want to drink another sip of this horrible crap. 175 is generous. I don't know why Amroot's putting their name on this, but hey, we all got to make ends meet. Just because our good friend Mike brought it up and he's provided so many good samples over the past month or two, I'm going to grab a different rum. And the rum I'm going to grab is quite possibly one of my favorites. And you know what? I'm going to grab this one. Because you know why? Because this one's badass. That's why. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about Plantation. Plantation doesn't make their own rum. They source it. Yeah, don't do it, man. Don't do it. What I got here. So Plantation, let me tell you about Plantation. Plantation is generally a rum I would say don't bother spending your money on. But if you find Plantation single casks, these single casks are fantastic. I have about 6 of them. They're all awesome in their own way. But the one I'm going to drink for you tonight as a nightcap is Plantation Rum Single Cask Fiji Islands 2009. This is 8.5 years in bourbon casks, 2 years in Ferran casks, because they're all going to be aged a little bit in Ferran casks because that's the company. But the finish is 6 months in Kilchoman peated whiskey. Is this my favorite of the single casks I've had? No, but they're awesome. It is bottled at a respectable 49.6% ABV. Held to the yes. If you see single cask plantations, not just your standard plantation, although one of them is okay as a mixer. Look, if you want a good rum at a good price, Plantation single cask is the way to go. And this is a great example of it. Ferran casks, of course, France. This is Fiji Island aged. And then you have Kilchoman casks in this. It's funky. It's sweet. It's tropical. It's slightly peated. It's awesome. This is how we will send off Rum Day. Solange. Mm-hmm. You've made good choices. Yes. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. They're awesome. The single casks are awesome. I have a 21-year-old Maltback finish that's fucking system trend. Malt user whiskey. I found a Foursquare 2005 rum recently. Thoughts, buy it immediately. That's my thought. If you found that in the wild, tell me how much it was. I'd love to hear, but buy it immediately. Yeah, Norfolk. I'll be honest, I'm unclear about how reputable they are. I've never ordered from them, but I always see them pop up in my app. I use Wine Searcher. I don't know. I can't vouch for them. vintage stuff have added sugar and color. Most of the Jamaican. Yeah, I agree. But I think on a whole, these are killer examples of rum, especially Cohen. And I think you'll probably agree with me as a bridge between rum drinker or whiskey drinkers, particularly Scotch, and rum. Rum is just, it's obviously much sweeter. It ages faster, but you get finishes that you would find in single malt Scotch that I think they do just a superb job with the majority of these. I would take flyers on pretty much any single cask plantation. I would. It'd be a rare exception that I would turn one down. There you go. And tropical aging time means a lot. If you've ever owned or bought or drank a Kavalan from Taiwan, you would know. Yep. Oh, yeah. 100%. You made the absolute right move. In fact, if there's any more of those there, I would go back and buy them, and I would buy one off of you for 130. So you let me know. Malt.muser@gmail. If you want to sell one of those bottles and make $20, I will gladly buy a 2005 Foursquare vintage off of you. Malt.muser@gmail. Anyways, this is an interesting one. You got a ton of course, tropical sweetness. There's cask influence. It's sweet and subtle. Oh, man, molasses. The like freshness of the Kilhoman peat smoke without anything else influencing. It's just such a funky bottling. Like rubber or leather. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you're big fans of the peat stuff. Fucking awesome. My next spirited sample is not going to be a rum, unfortunately. Although it should be this, because I don't know how I'm going to put this away. It's so rich. Delicious. Damn. Okay. I'm going to settle things up here. I know, and I'm not a big Kilhoman guy, as you all know. Kilhoman is a very hit and miss distiller for me, mostly miss. As is Talisker. It's just working here. It's working here, I think, maybe just because it's so interesting. Love it, Mike. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Again, Nika Coffee Green review dropping Friday. Patreon.com/maltmuserwhiskey if you want to join. It's already in your inbox. So you can check it out. You can leave a comment. Let me know. I have another Patreon exclusive review. Last time it was Balvenie Ton Batch 5. I got another one coming relatively soon, so keep your eyes out for that. And we're going to keep rolling here. I will just say next week I will not be on. My parents are coming to visit. Hanging out with the stepdad and the mom here in Chicago. Got to take them out to dinner. I will not have the live stream, but I will be back in 2 weeks, and I'll have a nice whiskey to taste. In the meantime, I do recommend, again, keep an eye out. If you haven't yet, hit that subscription button. Make sure you don't miss that review of the Nika Coffee Grain. The Shag 18 is coming after that, and also Balvenie 21-year-old single barrel. I got a bunch of reviews coming up. So hit that sub. It'll make sure you don't miss any. Smash that like button on your way out. It goes further than you know. I deeply appreciate you all. Everybody stay safe, be well. I will see you in 2 weeks for another Tasty Tuesday live stream. And I'll have another bottle to profile and plenty to chat about, man. Much love to you all. Stay safe, be well. So lunch.